All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Geoff, man. And today we've got some fire. You do not want to miss it. Listen, if anyone's around women's health, education system, prison system, any of those places that house tons of females, man, you want to be here at this message. Corporately, also, man, we've got a young lady coming up who is the right person to deliver this message, the right person to bring this service to us, right person that is committed. Oh man, is committed to making a difference, bringing the education, bringing the resources to communities that are underserved. Right? So what's our title today? Menstrual health and period poverty. We're going to find out what period poverty is. We're going to talk about why that's so important and why they're still getting women's health wrong. Man, I want to know more about that because I call myself trying to understand that process, but man, I can't wait to speak to our next guest, right? So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Geoff Tyson, affectionately known as the Comeback King and host of Conversations with Geoff, where our message and our mission is to amplify stories from all over the world, from guests like are coming up next, to take you from stinking thinking to purpose, right? From struggling to strength, man. Come on now. So anyway, today we want to find out some great things from our next guest. Just really quickly, she's been in the education industry. Before she made this pivot, she was doing tremendous things in the education world. She was at one of the top schools in the world, right, in education. And she's like, man, she found her purpose and she found her calling. And now, I'm just going to look and make sure I don't miss anything because, oh boy, she is surrounding menstrual health, period poverty, and women's health leadership. Right? I'm going to say it one more time. We explore the real issues surrounding menstrual health, period poverty, and women's health leadership with my next guest, the period plug, my friend, Monique Black, founder of the Time of the Month Club. This is the bold lady, guys. So get ready. Call everybody you know because she's got a special announcement at the end of this that you don't want to miss. What's up, Monique?
Hi. How are you?
Doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Wonderful.
All right. Well, it's nice to see you. Thanks for taking the time out. I know you don't have much time. So I'd like for you maybe just tell the folks who you are really quickly that I may not have touched on. And let's get to what the message is today.
Okay, great. Yes, my name is Monique Black. I go by the period plug. I'm a vaginal health educator. I educate on the importance of monitoring your vaginal and menstrual fluids to help prevent things like fibroids, to help deal with endometriosis, help with understanding infertility and all of the things by way of the menstrual cup. So I promote the use of the menstrual cup, which is 100% medical grade silicone item that you use in place of tampons and pads. So you use this, it's reusable up to 10 years and it helps to end period poverty.
Man, so that's just, so how to get to this for you, right? I mean, when did you discover this thing and why are you so passionate about it now?
Well, I used to live overseas, and before I went there, I had some friends say, hey, those traditional products that you're used to, we're not going to have them. So you're going to have to get a cup. And I had never even heard of a cup, didn't know what it was. And I was like, I'm not using that. But
Right.
When I started using it and I kind of did a deep dive into the benefits of it, and then I was like, hey, how come the people over in America, how come they don't know about this? Because I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
It was that in addition to the company that I worked for, they provided 100% healthcare for everywhere except America. So it kind of made me, look at the disparities that women of color especially face here in America. And when I came back after COVID, some friends were like, hey, you really should, start telling people about what you've learned. And so here we are.
Yeah. It really is important to have this education around this, right? So when people hear about the cup, what are some of the things that they are kind of confused about. Can you tell us in terms of sustainability, cleanliness? How is that? Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Well,
let's just
so
take a look at it. Talk
yeah,
to me.
this is a cup. If you've never seen one before, this is a menstrual cup. It's just like I said, 100% medical grade silicone, and it's very flexible, and it goes inside the vaginal canal. So the way that you use it is you just kind of fold it, and when it goes inside, it just kind of opens up like this and creates like a seal, because this part is a muscle and it collects the fluid instead of absorb it like pads and tampons. So pads and tampons, they absorb everything that comes out of your cervix, which is this right here, including your blood and all the things that you need to be monitoring. So what I tell people is, just like you wouldn't get in your car and not check your gas, your oil, and all of those things, neither should you be not checking your menstrual fluid, because that tells you everything that you need to know about your health. And it's directly tied to your gut health. So it's like if someone says, oh, I'm having stomach problems, and they had never even heard of being lactose intolerant. That's a big thing. But what's happening is they're going to the doctor and they're saying, oh, I'm having heavy bleeding, or I'm have extra heavy cramps and it's unbearable, and they're given either like a birth control pill or a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
And so that's just because there's a disconnect. Like, you don't know what your symptoms are because you're not able to monitor what's coming out of you. So no different than, like I said, going back to the lactose intolerant. If you're like, hey, I keep having stomach problems, and you don't know what being lactose intolerant is, and that there is something that you can do to prevent that, and them saying, oh, we'll just take your stomach out. Like, it's just, I mean, put very simply, like, American women get hysterectomies at an alarming rate when it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So if you would just maybe do something a little bit differently. And so that's what my organization is for. We have a partnership with Baker Ripley where we go into their facilities and talk to the underserved communities and pass out free menstrual cups. And we go into the prison once a quarter to talk about vaginal health, and just to help you to understand your body and to know what's going on, because the average person has actually never seen the inside of a vagina.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of like, what? But most people have not, and they could not identify the different parts, or where is the cervix, what are the fallopian tubes? Okay, they're pretty easy, but where is what is the endometrium, what is what comes out of you, and things like that. And so that's where I come in and I educate the people and everyone on the importance of understanding their body, being comfortable with their body, and taking more of a proactive approach to understanding what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you for that explanation. And I'm just thinking, I want to back you up for just a second, because you said something I think is real important. And my brain is spinning. So if I have this question, other folks will have too. When you're saying check, you talked about the obvious pains that you have, but when you say check, are you also saying take a look at the stuff when you're exchanging and emptying the cup? Take a look at it to make sure that you're understanding the consistency.
You smell your urine, and you need more water. You may look at your feces and say, oh, or feel like, oh, I need more fiber. Absolutely. Women's vaginal menstrual fluids are filled with so much information. And actually, there are studies going on right now because they're directly tied to regenerative stem cells. Because, but think about it. When a woman gets pregnant, she produces breast milk specifically for that baby. So everything your body produces is specifically for you. Even they say, I mean, I have 5 children, so I've done all the old wives' tales things. But like when my children, when they were babies and they had that little baby acne, they would say take their first urine from the day and rub it on their face, you know.
Yes.
And as disgusting as that sounds, it works. And so it's similar to what I'm telling women, like, take control. You need to be looking at your menstrual fluid, put it in your hand, feel it, and see what's normal for you, to see, oh wait, this is not normal. It looks like I'm developing fibroids. Maybe I need to cut back on my ultra processed foods, and I need to, you know, fibroids aren't detrimental, but they can be, because they can hide cancer, or they can, you know, some other things. Endometriosis, you know, most doctors are not taught about a lot of vaginal illnesses. Because we're not studied. There's no research study on it. We're just mutants of men. And so the research that is there isn't exactly, how do I say, it's not exactly accurate. And for example, I have one, I read several books, but in one of these books, it's one of the books I'm reading, I don't know which one it was, but anyways, we were talking about the history of things. And, you know, it's very well known that Black women, or women of color, can endure, you know, pain better than other races. That's what's said. Well, where did that come from? Well, it's actually medically documented that women of color, it was in Medical Bondage. That's the book by Deidre. Her name's on my page, but Medical Bondage. And she talks about the disparities and where that comes from. That and Invisible Woman is the other book that I'm reading currently, The Invisible Woman. And it says that it's medically documented that women of color are more used to and prefer mating with primates than with their own kind, you know, other Black men. And that's in medical records. So that gets carried on to the 21st, 22nd, to our century now. And now when your doctor has an automatic bias and says, oh, you know, you're not in pain, you know, you're over exaggerating. It's not that bad. You don't. That's where it comes from. So that's where I come in. I study the history and I say, hey, you know, well, you know, people will say, well, I have this and that. And I'm not a doctor, but I'll say, well, I will say that the doctors here in America are trained for the most part. Now, there are some that do a little preventative care, but for the most part, they're for after something happens. So they're for the treatment. So it's, here, take this pill you have to pay for every month, or here, get a hysterectomy, or have this surgery. All these things cost money. And so that's where I come in, where I'm just like, hey, you know, you need to take control of your own life. No, we've learned to not just take our car in and believe what the mechanic says. Why do we just believe what the doctor says?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that message, you know, and listen, my brother-in-law is a doc. My mom's was in the nursing industry, in that business, but they've also seen what we're talking about. And you know, they do serve a role in our health, but I love what you talk about, being responsible for our own health. That's why I asked that question, because, you know, folks of color having this kind of conversation is not something that's really normal.
Right.
That I've seen, you know, it's kind of like been a hush thing. So that's why I admire your courage to stand up and say, hey, y'all, we need to talk about this. And you're doing that, right? And you're going into schools and education and having the tough conversation, but it only puts us in a better position.
To be more knowledgeable and take more control of your health and all the things, and also pass that information on to the next generation.
So this subject and menopause, this is something that I've been like, man, I see it. We as a population, as a community, are hush around menstruation and hush around menopause. So I'm excited to have you here today to say, hey, listen, let's talk about it. Let's have that campfire conversation, right? And what kind of hesitation, I guess, have you come across when you start talking about this? Or people all saying, thank you, this is great? Are you having some people like, look at you crazy?
Both, because I literally walk around with a uterus all the time. So
I met you with one. You had one when I met you.
Literally, I'll walk around with like either this, and I'll be like, "Do you know what this is?" Like, I literally walk around with a uterus all the time, and so I do get crazy looks, or they're like, especially the older someone is, the more they're like, "Hey, we don't talk about that," or "Hey, put that away," or "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, it's life," I mean, how can you get the word out? And I think I get the shock effect from people. And so they're either like, why are you walking around with a uterus? Which is, a good conversation starter. Yep. Or they're like, what exactly do you do? And so either way, they're curious, whether they want to admit it or not. Right. They have there's sometimes they have a little uncomfortableness, but once we get to talking, like I make you feel, or I try to, comfortable to ask your questions, and I usually say something that give a statistic and that most people are not aware of. Like, it takes the average American woman, especially woman of color, 10 years to get diagnosed with endometriosis. Wow. That 1 in 3 women pass off symptoms of vaginal illnesses as normal, because they'll say, "Oh, that's just part of being a woman," or "You just, you're just being a baby, that cramps are normal." Like, that's not normal. Heavy bleeding's not normal. Or when people say all the time, like, "I have super heavy periods," and I'm like, that's not normal.
Right. And I know that, and my mom was really just kind of fortunate to kind of just take me aside and talk to me about stuff. Because I grew up with a sister, had 2 sisters. So, I would watch and all the other things. What about, this is something that just came to my mind. I want to ask you, what about the emotional side of do you deal with any of that part of it in your business, in terms of, and this is just what I've heard and read and seen, there are swings that men and women, I believe men and women both go through menstruation. Mm-hmm. And I believe that to be true. So what have you found out or talk about, if at all, around the emotional side? Just shifting gears real quick.
Well, there's another book that I'm going to start reading, and it's called Cycle Syncing. And so a lot of people don't realize and understand is that the menstrual cycle is indeed a cycle. It has 4 phases to it. So you have the menstrual phase, and then you have the follicular phase. And after that, you'll have the ovulation phase and the luteal phase. And each of those phases require, they have different characteristics. I think most people are familiar with the luteal phase. That is when the woman is the moodiest. Don't ask me nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't talk to me. I'm not starting nothing. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not nothing. You're like, you were literally just in a good mood yesterday. I don't care. I'm not like that today. Don't talk to me. And and then like a few days later, not even like maybe 3 or 4 days later, depending on your body, you may feel like, "Oh, I feel the prettiest, and oh, I can accomplish everything. Oh, you're just the best. You're wonderful." And you're like, "This lady's crazy." Because and that's where the crazy woman comes in. Yes. Because we've been labeled so long. As a matter of fact, like the Harlem Witch trial, like that was just women in their luteal phase, or even like The Exorcist. Like, I think The Exorcist was based on someone who was possessed by the devil, but that wasn't it. It was a woman that was having extra bad periods. Yes. That, you know what I mean? Like, she just couldn't control, because it's so painful, and she was so and I think she had endometriosis, and she was a little schizophrenic, which we all are something, but and they just took that and highlighted it like, "Oh, these devil women," but that's not it at all. It's just understanding your phase and your cycle. And actually, my organization, we're working on an app to help women to understand that too, for you to personally know when is your cycle, when are your luteal phase days. And I'll say in a heartbeat, I'll tell my kids or whatever, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm in luteal, so talk to me at your own risk. Okay, catch me in about 4 or 5 days, and we'll be good. But today may not be your day."
That's right. And if they are smart, they're listening.
And if they're smart, they'll listen.
they are fortunate that you're able to tell them that. Because I'm thinking about, as you're talking about, how important this is in relationship, men and women, right?
Yeah.
And look at how these things, because they're real. It's not. I mean, this is scientific information.
Mm-hmm.
And don't, fellas, don't ask her if she's on her period. Just don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Oh, don't.
You just keep a little mental track, like, okay, luteal phase.
Keep a little phase. That's right. Follow you so you can get the real information. Because
that's right.
I mean, it's just so important to
and I enjoy talking to men also. So if there's an opportunity to just talk to men, and I allow, when I do talk to them, I'll say, hey, ask your questions. Like, I don't understand women. Women don't even understand women. So I can't even tell you how, of course, the men don't. But what I can say is that if you start paying a little more attention to her different phases and how to support her during those phases, that will help you communicate better. Do not ask her when she's in her luteal phase, if she can start any projects, if she can help you with anything, because it's gonna be like, why you can't do it yourself? Why you can't? And you're like, wait a minute, you just said, like, that's not the time to ask her. Or, you see her and like, dang, you're in a really good mood. Oh, she's in her follicular phase. Okay, this is when I need to ask her, hey, can we go on that trip? Or hey, can we do this? Can we spend it? Like, that's when you ask her during that time. So helping men understand that also helps. And then, the other side to that is, especially if they're in the intimacy part, like if you don't understand what some things are coming out of a woman, like you're affected too, because there are 5 STDs that men can carry, they get from women and don't have any symptoms and don't know, and they just pass it on to other women. So if you're in a relationship, you can take more control and be like, hey, I noticed this smell, or and it's not just a fishy smell. Like there's a pungent smell, and it's like really it's a pungent smell, and there's some other symptoms, like there's a lot, it's very watery. That could be a sign of a carcinoma, which is cervical cancer. So there are things that that men too can take accountability for and help these women. And when I do talk to men, I said, hey, if you have a daughter and your daughter comes to you and says that she's had a headache for a week, would you take that lightly? And they're like, no, of course not. So why do you take it lightly if she says she's had cramps for a week? It's the same thing. She could, they start off, you can start your cycle as young as 8 and start having discharge as young as 7. If we ask the questions, hey, what color is it? What did it feel like? What did it smell like? Then we could help prevent infertility. We could help prevent things like fibroids. Like, okay, maybe in your diet you shouldn't be eating so much of this, and we need to incorporate some more of cinnamon or turmeric, or simple things like that.
And this information that you're talking about is free information. It's just education.
It's just education
that we can use and believe to be true, right? Because it prepared. We want to stay out of the hospital,
right?
And the things that you're talking about, the little tips. I hope people are listening to all of this stuff, because I'm jotting down notes when I can. I'm gonna go back and listen to this again, and then make sure that I share it with my daughter and her granddaughter, her daughters, because we can only get better by education and doing things. And you being bold enough to show up.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to learn more, I'll be back at the Ripley House in April. I'm working on it. It's always the third Thursday of the month, in the evening, usually like I think 5:30 or 5:45 to 7. Maybe it's 6 to 7. I have to look at the schedule, but it's going to be at a Baker Ripley, and I'm working on some other Baker Ripley properties to get in there also for what's convenient. And you can sign up on my page on Instagram, _period_plug. I'm always posting the classes, in addition to the business page, which is That Time of the Month Club. And I just want to mention also that I am hosting a gala this Saturday. Yes, I know it's Rodeo Cook-Off Day, but But I also have unlimited liquor without the lines. Okay, I got unlimited liquor without the line. You don't have to wait in line where I am. Okay, at my event, it's unlimited open bar. We got food. We gonna feed you. We got a DJ. It's really like a whole personalized tent. If you be honest, like for a fraction of the price, like half of the price. So, so you can go to allredgala.org and check that out. Or if you can't make it, we also appreciate any donations.
So, and what is the gala? I mean, obviously to support the movement.
Yes, it's a fundraising event to help. We're trying to raise enough money to purchase 1,000 menstrual cups for women in underserved communities for the rest of the year.
How close are you? Or this is something you guys just starting? I mean, where are you on the goal?
We're about halfway there. We're about halfway there. So I'm hoping that at the gala, we're able to raise some more money to be able to fund the rest of the year. And if not, we'll be doing another event.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, folks, listen to this message, reach in your pocket, be kind in spirit, and make a difference in the community is what I hear you saying.
That'd be nice. Yes.
That's what you do. Not only here, but every time I see you, you're always showing yourself as someone that's doing the service that you're meant to do. So keep doing the amazing work that you're doing. And I know that you have another place to be here in the next couple of minutes. So before you leave, what do you want to say to summarize everything that you've talked about?
Be open to understanding your body and women who are like, oh, I don't even have that anymore. I don't have to worry about that. You do have to worry about that because someone in your life does. And, you can take accountability in knowing that, hey, if you educate yourself, they wouldn't have to be in a position that you're in where you felt like you had to get it removed because it was too painful. We're meant to keep our uterus. It was not meant to come out. Right. And so, just knowing and being able to spread that information is helpful. So you're welcome to follow me on LinkedIn, Monique Black, or the Period Plug. Also on Instagram, _Period Plug. And on Facebook, you can also donate at allredgala.org or TTMC Foundation, which is that Time of the Month Club Foundation .org.
Nice. Well, I just want to add one thing, and that's ladies, be sure to make sure you share this with your male partner. And men, take it serious what you're talking about, because that whole piece around communication and intimacy can be elevated to another level, just being more understanding of what's going on. So listen, fantastic time here today. Thank you so much for carving it out, Monique, and I'm going to get you back on here. Maybe we can do some teaching around some of these things, because you're right. Many people have never seen what you showed us today.
Right.
So, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck this Saturday too, right?
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye. All right. Hey, listen, guys, as always, man, I'll really encourage you, those of you that came here specifically or catch the replay, to make sure that you reach out to her. If you can't get a hold of her, please let me know, and I'll make sure of that. And if you have a desire to donate and also can't get a hold of her for the gala, make sure that we get that connection for you. Don't hesitate. I mean, I've seen this woman out here, and she is in the mission, right? Not just in the mission, but pushing the mission, driving the mission forward. So let's make sure that we understand. We all have sisters, cousins related to this subject matter, wives, right? And the more we can create a safe space to have these kinds of conversations, the better off everybody's going to be. So I encourage you to reach out to Monique. And if this Saturday, yes, rodeo cook-off, man, but you can have a little rodeo and find your way to her gala and make some time to talk to your partners at home about this. Just keep this thing on the forefront, not just making it something that's hush-hush. The more educated we are, the better prepared we are, and the better prepared we are, the better person we'll become, and the better person we'll become, the better world we'll have, right? So again, the mission here at Conversations with Geoff is to amplify, baby, like she did today. Comeback stories. Going from uneducated to educated, making a difference because it's necessary. So If you're looking for a spot to land, I would encourage you to like, subscribe, set the notification bell up, and share this information with your friends. And we like to always say, don't let nothing stop you from reaching your destiny. Your comeback is now. Let's rise up together. We'll see you on the next episode of Conversations with Geoff. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.